Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Eons. Welcome to Strange Eons Radio. That is Eric over there.
Hello.
That is Vanessa over there.
Hello.
You know I got to do this.
You're Kelly. Yes, yes. Moving
Eric,
right along.
just making sure that we are actually recording. Thank you for that, Eric.
Fantastic.
I don't have a lot to talk about at the beginning here, but I do have one thing that maybe will spark a discussion.
Cool.
The Wolfman trailer came out. Lee Winnell's new movie
Yes.
for Universal.
Yeah.
And that looks really cool, right?
Yeah. Big step up from the Mummy.
But then they did a kind of Wolfman reveal of what the Wolfman looked like.
Oh,
That's supposed to be the final.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it can be, right? Now,
is this gonna be Sonic all over again? They're gonna have to redo it now.
well, so that picture we saw, I guess, is from the Universal Studios. What's their big haunt?
Halloween Horror Nights.
Horror Nights.
Yeah, I read an article about that, and that is nothing to do with quite what it's going to be in the movie.
Okay, that's what I was
Yes.
thinking. Was like, oh, okay, so maybe this isn't that, or maybe this is the thing that bites the person. And I hope
Right.
that we get something that is either, I'd love to see some kind of Dog Soldiers type werewolf,
Yeah.
Sure.
or something that harkens back to that original Lon Chaney werewolf makeup.
Do the cut and paste.
Yeah.
Put on, cut back, put on something.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
exactly that.
So beautiful.
Well, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this, not just because I think Lee is an amazing filmmaker, but also, you guys remember whatever it was 10 years ago with Benicio del Toro's Wolfman? And what a fucking missed opportunity.
Yeah.
You get Benicio del Toro
kidding,
and what's his name from Silence of the Lambs, and then just this shit CGI werewolf movie that was... I mean, Benicio, I love, and he fucking snoozed his way through that entire
Yeah.
movie.
that
He looked
sucks.
absolutely bored.
Yeah, that was a real letdown film.
Man.
So that was, I actually had thought, our topic today is black and white films, and I was like, wasn't that black and white? And I went back to look at it again, and it was not.
That's such a
But,
Turn the
bummer.
color off on my TV. Oh, look.
Well, no, because I kind of was like, oh, give this a shot again. And I
Yeah.
started watching it. I was like, oh no, I forgot. This movie sucks.
It's too, yeah, it really has been a while since there's been some good. I mean, I guess there was the Disney Werewolf by
Werewolf by
Night
Yeah.
thing, and that was probably the most
That was-
recent
That was cool.
and most interesting werewolf thing in a while. But yeah, we don't get to see werewolves very often anymore. So
I have a werewolf book coming out.
what?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, let's do that one.
That one is coming out on October 17th, and it is called The Distant Silver Melody. But look at this little thing that I'm giving you guys all a sneak peek at. This is called Anacarcosa, coming out in November with Rob Corliss. A very slim volume. I think you would call it a chapbook.
Yes,
But
yes.
it is fully illustrated throughout, and it is really cool, and I can't wait for everybody to see that.
If you think the cover is at least remotely confusing, the inside is even cooler. It is really, really neat.
Well, the really cool thing, so when I start pushing this hard, Rob Corliss has become an award-winning animator whose films show at Cannes Film Festival and stuff like that. And he took his artwork from this and animated it into a trailer.
Oh,
So
fun.
it is really cool. I'm excited for everybody to get a look at that.
That's incredible.
Speaking of animation, I saw something that I don't know why it exists. But
But you're glad it does.
well, I don't know.
Okay.
Watchmen Chapter 1 is the latest animated DC movie,
Really?
Oh,
and
This
it
is
is
new?
an brand new animated version of the Watchmen comic.
okay.
Okay.
Well, okay.
Is it
I thought,
closer? Or
okay,
something?
so here we go. I was like, well, what is this? Is this like a new take on it? It is the comic book, but animated.
Sort of
Okay.
like the Dark Knight one several years ago, where it's like the panels were used as.
So
like, here's
basically,
your-
the only difference between this and the Zack Snyder is that they finally include that like ship story.
Well, that is
like, pirate
that is
comic?
in this.
Okay.
There is a version of Zack's that has
Yeah.
the comic book.
Is there?
The
Yeah,
pirate
yeah.
comic
Oh, I did
book in
not
it.
realize that.
special edition Blu-ray or something. has it.
Yeah, and you can say what you want about Zack Snyder. I love Watchmen. I
That
think
is
It is
an amazing
fantastic
film.
film.
Amazing film.
Yeah.
It is so visual.
Yeah, but this is just like the DC animated movies you're used to seeing.
Weird.
This is the next one, and as I was watching it, I was like, "But why?" It was really good. It's only chapter 1, so I imagine they will finish out the story. But why?
So it's like, is it going to be, what was it, 12 issues or whatever? Like is one issue 1, issue 2, or
No,
is it-
this was about half the story.
Oh, okay.
and I assume they will finish it in either the next one or maybe a third one.
third, yeah.
They really screwed the pooch on that Crisis on Infinite Earths. There's 3 movies of that out now, and I watched them all, and I was like, this is awful.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
But this is really neat. It just seems incredibly unnecessary. So that is a rental right now. It is Watchmen Chapter 1.
Well, I checked out on Netflix. They've been teasing. I'm such a sucker for YA sci-fi. So they were teasing out this movie called The Uglies. And it's starring, you guys remember the film not that long ago with the princess who escapes or who has to fight her way down the entire tower?
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it. It's going to be something dumb like princess. But yeah, it's that same
Damsel or
actress.
something like that?
Yeah, damsel. Maybe? No, that's the... Anyway,
Some damn thing.
some damn thing. And the plot is just such a YA novel plot. It's a world in which when you get to a certain age, you're kept sort of separate while you're a kid and you're a young adult. But when you get to a certain age, you get to become pretty. And until then you're considered to be ugly. But in order to get rid of all strife and war and jealousy and all the things that are wrong with humanity, everyone gets to go undergo this operation and look like and be the best versions of themselves. But of course, there's something darker afoot. So one girl who is desperate to become pretty, she thinks she's super ugly. Her best friend goes through the procedure first and comes out the other side being very, very, very different. And then she's still eager for the operation, but maybe she knows something and they won't let her. And then she goes to like a remote place where a bunch of uglies live and finds out that maybe there's something else happening in the world. Anyways, it was dumb. It's fun. It's stupid. It's like I've seen this movie 1,000 times before. And there's like this futuristic skateboarding that looks so bad and it's so cheesy. But it was fine. They will have a second film. They could have wrapped up the entire film in like one scene at the end with like 5 more minutes maybe. No. They were like, we're going to end on a cliffhanger. So
I have been sitting here going, is this even English? What is this movie?
Yeah,
This sounds ridiculous.
it's, yeah.
Anime?
No, it's
I
a
was
Netflix.
like, what are these words coming out of your mouth? This makes no sense. What is this on?
Netflix.
I'm
It's a Netflix
fucking
original.
gonna hate watch this tonight.
There you go.
Wait for the skateboarding. You will hate watch the shit out of that skateboarding.
And it's called Uglies.
It's called Uglies. The Uglies.
This-
It's probably in the top 10 carousel by now.
I sometimes wonder why you do this to yourself. This sounds like a movie you should look at and go,
Avoid.
no, absolutely not. I'm not watching this.
It's the same reason I watch really bad romance movies that I know I'm gonna hate. Like there's something wrong. I think it's the hormones that exist because I'm a girl. I know I don't want to, but somehow I made it all the way through One Tree Hill. And I cannot tell you how that happened. It's like a zombie took over my body. And all of a sudden I was buying the 8th season box set or whatever. Like, there's something so trashy and so easy about it that
Yeah, sure.
The Uglies.
The Uglies.
hurry up and get out of my house so I can put this trash on. And
There
If
you
just
you've
go.
seen Divergent,
angrily
you've
watch
seen
it.
the Uglies. If you've seen the Hunger Games, you've seen the Uglies.
Is it that kind of looking film too? Is
It looks a little bit maybe slightly similar, but maybe a little worse because they don't have the budget.
Yes, pretty
So-
big budget films are.
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so if you are in the mood for really shitty stuff that nonetheless has
Hey, man.
a moment of wow.
If you like sci-fi and you are just desperate, check
I
out
am
the
not.
Uglies on Netflix.
No. You want to watch Aquaslash.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I saw you post something about
Aquaslash.
this.
This is a terrible, terrible movie for about 40 minutes. Boring people, boring characters. People are probably fine. I don't know. But boring characters. Very, very strange. Another movie like the bowling one I watched too long ago. We're closing down our water slide park forever. But no, there's a killer who's coming back 30 years or I don't know. Who cares? The only thing that works in this film that makes it unbelievably amusing was something I was kind of hiding because I thought it was a spoiler, but every place you pull this movie up, it's one of the stills that shows up. At some point in the film, the killer takes 2 giant slices of sharpened metal and sticks an X into one of the slides. And the big thing that happens in this water park is the slide speed race.
Oh, no.
So they've got 3 active slides,
Oh,
and you
no.
don't know as a watcher which one they're in.
Right.
Oh, no.
So they all go down. And it's such a long slide that when shit goes wrong, the people at the bottom can't let the people at the top know what's going on. I mean, I don't know, this was like 2019, but apparently nobody had cell phones. It's probably based in the 80s or something.
Yeah.
But so as they're running up, more people are going down and they're just piling up on this.
Oh, no.
So it like cuts them into 4s as they.
And the first
my
one is
God.
a group of people, and it cuts like the first person, then the other people get stuck, and then other people come and hit him from behind.
Oh, my God.
This is available on Freevee
No.
or I think Prime Video without a rent, and it's not great. But that last half, it's almost like 20 minutes too. This goes on
Oh,
forever.
my God.
And it's got that annoying noise whenever there's an explosion in movies. You hear that kind of sound
Oh,
that's
that
supposed to be like
hot
ringing ears.
buzz.
Oh, okay.
That's also going over the top, so it makes no sense why that's there.
Who's got this PTSD? The one person who made it alive through it.
But that made worth watching. I'm watching this movie. Okay, well, I'm halfway through. It's another 100 Days movie, and this starts happening. Going,
Oh, I'm not watching this fucking film. This is awful.
Aquaslash.
Oh my.
I mean, that is a really
God.
dumb title, but
Yep.
Oh no.
I'm suddenly interested.
yep, it is.
No.
I think we know from our internet posts and back and forth. There are definitely certain listeners that will truly appreciate this film.
Wow. Okay, well, and now for something completely different.
Please.
I took advantage of the Night Flight app, which was
Oh,
like they dropped their thing down to like $4 a month for if you bought a year, you know. So for
Yeah,
$36, I was like, oh, I'll try Night Flight, which is if you're too young to know or don't remember, Night Flight was a program on the USA channel, and it was fucking weird. It was
Yeah.
movies and music videos and interviews and documentaries and bizarre things. That was the first time I ever saw the Power Rangers, only it was
Oh,
dubbed
yeah.
completely
Oh,
different.
yeah.
And it was very funny.
Oh my God.
So I decided to give this a try, and they have this crazy. Now you can either watch Night Flight and just let it roll, or you can go through and pick and choose. They have this. Unfortunately, you can't pick this. I was just lucky enough to be watching it when this came on, and it is something called Uncanny Valley, and it is a short film. It is stop motion with live actors.
Oh, wild.
And it's long. I was like, this must have fucking taken 4 years to film.
Oh my God.
And it is it is about these soldiers in World War I and this battle that goes on, and these two guys who are trying to hide and everything. And I just sat there with my mouth hanging open going, this is so crazy and cool and weird and impressive. And then the way it ends is like one of those, whoa, what the fuck? So I immediately got online and looked up this director's name, and very little since then. And I'm like, this should have been an Academy Award winning short, and this guy should be directing Marvel movies or something. But it was just really, really cool. So I would say if you can search this out somehow, Uncanny Valley. I found it on Night Flight, but again, it was only on their actual streaming channel, so I couldn't pause it and go back to the beginning and watch it again or anything like that. So anyway, it just blew me away. So
Kind of sounds
Uncanny
like
Valley.
one of the filmmakers that's had a short at Krypton Sale several times, where that's what he does. His shorts are like still photos all progressed together. Like the first one he did, I think you saw, was with the Rubik Cube.
Oh yeah.
Where a guy thought everything was Rubik Cubes, and it comes very, very violent.
Yeah.
But it's so unique. That'd be cool. Yeah, I really want to see that, because it sounds like he might have seen that when he was much younger and was inspired, because it sounds like what he does.
So one of the things Night Flight does is not just stuff from that time period.
Oh,
so
cool.
this is from, I think, 2017 or
Wow.
something.
Wow.
So,
Okay, so
it
might be
Crazy.
him.
it's very cool.
That's very nice.
Very nice. Well, I've seen like the first 20 minutes of a lot of movies, but unfortunately, my daughter doesn't let me get all the way through them. So instead, I'm going to talk about this weird thing that I ended up signing up for, which is I had my birthday not that long ago, and I noticed
It's called Amway. Here's how it works.
almost. So I was on A24's website for some reason. I wanted to get the I Know Why the TV Glows album. And I noticed that if you signed up for their like paid membership, you got a free birthday gift, and it was my birthday, and B, a percentage off of your purchases.
Yep.
And I went, well, for $5 or whatever it was, I can't remember. Like, I'm going to go ahead and sign up for this. And not only did they send me, let me choose a free gift, which turned out to be like the special edition Green Knight copy Blu-ray, which was one.
Shit.
Yeah. So they have good gifts on there, which I
Lord.
was like, holy shit. But on top of that, they sent me the first like zine that they will start sending me. And it was like Get Behind Me, Satan. And I think it's done by the guy who did Maxine. But it was a really cool, weird little zine about like kind of anti-Satanist culture from the 80s. And it's silly. Like it's a little art piece, but yeah, it was really fun. So I just wanted to let people know about this weird thing.
I signed up for that for a little while too.
Yeah.
I may go back and do it again. But one of the ones I got with their little zine was when Everything Everywhere All at Once was big.
Yeah.
It was How to Do Your Taxes Properly.
Oh, amazing.
Written by the guys who wrote that movie.
Oh my God.
And it's actual tax stuff intermixed with some weird crap. So they do some neat stuff. Some of
Yeah.
the stuff they're if you go to their catalog page, it's not just like here's our movies, buy stuff. There's some weird shit on there. Actually.
Yeah. No, so it was kind of like a weird, interesting thing to come across. And I just, I'm letting my Fangoria subscription lapse. So I was like, I need something new.
Yeah, that's a lot more expensive too. So.
It's a lot more
Fangoria
expensive.
is.
And I never read them. And I was like, I need to stop paying for this. But thank you, Fangoria, for what you do.
We're
But
still existing.
I like your newsletters a lot. I just don't get my way through your magazines. So
Wow.
anyway,
Well, I watched a movie because I don't have a 6-month-old.
eight months.
now. Okay. Sorry, I can't keep track of the months.
Hey man, when every day they do something very slightly different, it gets very exciting. Let me tell you.
Then you remember it.
You do remember.
I was not there for any of that.
That's
so.
okay. That's okay. You are forgiven.
I know Kelly likes this one. Another one I posted about from a 100 Days from 1988, Paper House,
Oh yeah.
which is another one I had heard nothing about. That is also Freevee, Prime, all over the place. Holy shit. This is an amazing film.
Yeah.
It's the story of a fairly sick girl. They're not quite sure what's wrong with her, and an even sicker kid. But when she draws art and falls asleep, she goes to the world of her art.
Oh.
So the paper house is a paper house that she had drawn,
Yeah.
and all the things inside it. And if she draws something, when she gets out, the guy's like, well, something would be cooler. She's like, what should I do? So she draws stuff and goes back in and it appears. But it's a really dark story.
Yeah.
In the long run, it is a very, very dark story, but it is really well done. It's a little more fantasy than horror, but it definitely has some creepy stuff going on. And the performances by the little kids are really good. And it's I know you like it. What did you?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. It played at the Neptune in like 1989, and so I got to see it there. And then I could never find it as a rental or anything. And I kept telling people about this amazing movie, and then I was like, can't wait for us to rent it or see it on HBO or something like that. And it just never showed up. So when you posted that, I was like, oh, this is something that I thought was kind of like a forgotten or lost film.
Yeah.
So that it's available to stream now is just amazing. I gotta sit down and watch it again.
Yeah. It's another one that I guess before last episode I said Nightmare Weekend's a movie that's Vinegar Syndrome could pick up. I think Severin needs to grab Paper House and do some of their stuff with it. It needs a remastering, and it is so interesting and so unique that I think it definitely deserves a lot more love from filmmakers.
So you said this was on Freevee or?
Yeah, Freevee, which is like inside Amazon Prime. Like if you don't, I think it's like Tubi, but if you don't have Prime Video, you can still watch some movies with commercials in there. I've watched some stuff there. I don't know exactly what it is, but it is on Prime Video and Roku and a few other places.
Yeah, that's a cool one. I'm glad you like that.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Okay, well, how about we take a little break, guys, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about contemporary horror films.
Black and white.
Was that better?
That or black and white.
Black and white. Oh, shit. I'm tired, you guys. So
Close enough.
we'll be right back.
Sound. Snap is the happiest sound I've found. You may clap, rap, tap, slap, but snap makes the world go round. Snap, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies. I say it's crackle, the crispy sound. You gotta have crackle or the clock's not wound. Geese cackle, feathers tickle, bells buckle, beats pickle, but crackle makes the world go round. Snap, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies. I insist that pop's the sound. The best is missed unless pop's around. You can't stop hopping when the cereal's popping. Pop makes the world go round. Snap, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies. Let's go for Kellogg's Rice Krispies. Snap, it's crackle, what a happy sound. You gotta have crackle or the sound not bound. You can't stop hopping when the cereal's popping. Snap, crackle, pop makes the world go round.
And we are back. Vanessa, this was your subgenre pick.
Yes.
You wanted to talk about black and white films.
Films, but modern ones.
But modern.
So with a bit of a twist. I'm going to be talking about something that maybe is a little bit of a cheat on this, but it's also, I think, a solid pick, which is 2007's The Mist, but the black and white version.
Whoa. Mom, Dad, you gotta come see. The birdhouse is all bashed. You just gotta... Come on. Whoa.
Having spoken, the doomsayer departs.
Come on.
Why don't you get Billy dressed? I'll take him into town with me. Hit the store before it gets all bought out.
How'd you folks hold up in the storm?
Big insurance day.
Sorry to hear that.
What's going
death.
Something in the mist! Shut the doors! Shut the doors!
The only way we're gonna help ourselves is to seek rescue.
Tie this around your waist.
What for?
Let us know you got at least 300 feet.
There's nothing out there. Nothing in the mist.
What if you're wrong?
Then I guess the joke would be on me.
It is time to take sides. Read the good book. It calls for blood.
Guys, I hear something. Are those bugs?
Not like any I've ever seen.
The entire front of this store is plate glass.
Promise you won't let the monsters get me.
What are you guys messing with up there?
I thought that there were other dimensions. They wanted to try and make a window.
Well, maybe your window turned out to be a door.
Who she's gonna sacrifice to make it all better?
We want the boy.
You try it.
Kill him!
Yes, which I had not seen. I've seen The Mist twice before, but never had checked out this. Anyone who is curious, this was a big hit. This is not a little-known film. It's a well-known film. Budget 18 million, box office 57.3. It's written and directed by Frank Darabont, who has 21 writing credits and 11 directing. He wrote Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile, Adventure of Young Indiana Jones, The Blob from the 80s, and Nightmare on Elm Street 3. He also created The Walking Dead. So, and of course, it's based on a novella by Stephen King. Yes, not just the people, not just me after I get very little sleep, you know. This is starring a ensemble cast, starring Thomas Jane, who has 91 credits. You would know him from Deep Blue Sea, The Punisher, The Predator, or I kind of know him best from The Expanse. Marcia Gay Harden is in this. She has 126 credits. She is almost always a biatch. She's in a lot of TV. Mystic River, and most recently I saw her in The Morning Show as the asshole journalist who's writing the book expose. And Laurie Holden, who plays Andrea Harrison in Walking Dead / is the Crimson Countess in The Boys. We also have Andre Broher, who was recently in something we talked about, City of Angels, I believe. Toby Jones, British actor. And Alexa Davalos, who is in Man in High Castle, William Sadler, Grim Reaper, and Bill and Ted Spoka's Journey, and Jeffrey DeMunn, Laura Holden. It's just, I already talked about it. There's a lot of people in this, a lot of recognizable faces. The story follows David Drayton, a Hollywood movie poster artist who lives in a small New England town. What? Shocking. With his wife and son. A horrible thunderstorm rolls through, causing a tree to crash through his window and destroy his art. There's also a giant power outage, which makes all their groceries spoil. So he decides to take his son to the grocery store to get supplies when, of course, a mist rolls in. Now, the mist is not an ordinary mist. It contains a strange, horrible creature that will murder them. In fact, it contains many strange, horrible creatures that will murder them. Him and his son end up holed up in the supermarket along with the townspeople, who end up fighting off the creatures, but also developing into factions in the store. And of course, humanity's darkest nature takes hold of the fearful residents. This film is, I didn't remember a lot of it when I watched it this time through, and I'm kind of glad about that because I felt like I was watching it with fresh eyes. It feels very much like a stage play, and watching it in black and white, you really see that Twilight Zone element that is very present. it feels so much like a Twilight Zone episode, but in a good way. I'm not. There was a lot of great stuff going on in this. I loved the acting. I loved the creatures, even though the CGI is pretty rough looking at it nowadays. But I think, again, the black and white actually helped with that to an extent. Like the spider creatures look way worse and were rough. The tentacles don't have like the weird artificial shine on them. So that's really working for them. I still don't understand the message or the moral in this, other than don't take the gun, or maybe always keep hope. I'm not sure. It has a rough ending. That is the thing it's known for. And now that I have a tiny, it is so much hard. I was like, I know the ending. It'll be fine. I won't feel anything. I cried a lot. I was like, you fucker.
Yeah.
It's rough. Anyway, a little bit of trivia. Frank Darabont originally wanted the film shown in black and white. And so, of course, this was finally his way of getting it when it came out in Blu-ray. Stephen King said that he was genuinely frightened by this adaptation of his novella, which made Frank Darabont describe that as the happiest moment of his career. Frank Darabont agreed to make the film with Dimension only under the condition that no matter what, they wouldn't change the scripted ending, and they agreed. He had actually been offered twice the budget from a different producer, but he would have had to have changed the ending, so he said no. Stephen King got the idea for this novella when he was in the Maine market, and he noticed the front window was made of plate glass, and he thought, what would happen if a giant insect flew into it?
Splat.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a feel-bad movie of the year.
Sure is.
For those of you that know the ending, I saw a meme the other day from this, which is like, wow, timely.
No kidding.
But it was a picture of them all together in the car at the end. And it was captioned something like, the least patient husband and his husband dad ever.
Darn right. Oh my God. You're just like, just wait. I mean, I guess just wait till the creature, you see it. Wait until like the thing wraps around you. I don't know, man. The only way I could get through it, which I couldn't, was to think of it like Twilight Zone. Like, oh no, my glass is broke and I'm surrounded with books and time. Like that's the only way I could really stomach it. But no.
I think this is a really, really good film.
Yeah.
They showed this at the Lovecraft Film Festival one year, and I was like, I'll gladly watch this again. But my biggest memory, I saw this in the theater when it came out with my girlfriend at the time. She didn't know anything about it, and it was very lightly attended. It was like opening night, and there were maybe 10 of us in the theater. Yeah. And I was like, oh no, this is not going to do well. But the weirdest part was when we left the theater, there was somebody there with a clipboard asking questions about the film. How did you feel about the film and everything? And I was like, boy, I'm in Everett, Washington, why would you be doing this? But I said, my girlfriend was like, not for me. And I said, I kind of loved it, but that ending is really grim. And the lady was like, yeah, we're getting that a lot.
Yeah. And
that's weird because I had the same thing when I saw it. I came out of the theater and there was a lady asking. This was in one of the downtown Seattle theaters.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
I wonder why they would think this would be the market that they needed to test audiences on.
Why do a test audience when you've already put the movie out? Yeah, I don't understand that.
I don't know. Well, maybe he was fighting with still fighting with the studios about the ending.
Could be. Could very well be. Yeah, that's
it's kind of crazy to think that was only an $18 million film.
Yeah.
He did a lot with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one location, really. I mean, it's a little bit.
Point.
There's a yard, and then it's really just one location. There's, you're working off of a lot of talent. The camera work is almost entirely handheld and implied stuff. Like the bit where the guy goes out and he's got the rope tied around him. It's not like you see the guy floating off in the sky. Right. You just see the rope go up to the top of the door. Like they're doing a lot with very little. The CGI is definitely the most expensive part about it. But I do remember the last time I saw this, I was doing the 31 horror Halloween, whatever. And my mom had decided to watch them all with me. I was staying with her. And this was the only one out of all the films. And we watched some rough films. She was like, this is the worst movie I have ever seen in my life. And she was very mad about it. So,
Oh my.
yeah.
I do think that the black and white really helps the effects
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah. And it just helps you focus, I think, more on some of the character development. Like, I was way angrier at that religious lady in this round.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like really hurt and was frustrating me to no end. And I was like, yes, Toby Jones. Yes, fucker. You are incredible, sir. You are incredible. Brava.
This is a thing that I don't know how I feel about modern films that want to do a black and white version of this, because like the black and chrome version of Fury Road, I think is far inferior.
I don't know why you would
it's
do
so
that.
gorgeous, the colors in that movie.
Why would you do that?
But then there's like Bram Stoker's Dracula that Coppola directed. I was like, can we please get a black and white version of this? I think it would be spectacular.
Yeah, that'd be
That'd
cool.
be so interesting.
So, well,
And it would work well too, because so much of the costume thing is textural. It's not. It would
Yeah.
pop in
Right.
black and white. That's a good idea.
Ooh.
Eric, did you want to go next, or you want me to go next?
Why don't you
I will.
dive in?
I will do this. I'm putting 5 minutes on the Strange Eons radio branded egg timer, soon to be available on our website. And I am talking about a movie called November.
Kui mu vanaema oli veel väike tüdruk, hiilis ta sauna, et vaadata, mida nad surnud seal teevad. Tegi sauna ukse lahti ja mis ta nägi? Inimkõrgused kanad vihtas.
Mis sa tahad?
Kratile hinge osta.
Vaata, Luise, ma tõin sulle külakosti.
Miks see niimoodi haiseb?
See on sitt.
Kristuse ihu ja veri.
Su ema on seal paju all.
Igaühel peab midagi olema või veel parem, keegi. Mul on keegi. Võid. Ma tahan olla tema naine.
Sa tead väga hästi, miks ma siia tulin. Ma ei tulnud siia perset soojendama. Ma tulin Liinale kossi.
Mine minema.
Ega sa endi käest ei pääse. Mina olen ise ja otsustan.
Issand Jeesus Kristus, Jumala poeg. Ida.
It is from, depending on where you look, 2017 or 2018. It is an Estonian film.
Well.
It is directed by Rainer Sarnet, who has 10 credits. Something called The Idiot, something called The Bank, and something called The Invisible Fight. Written by Andrus Keverak, who has 23 credits. Rainier also wrote this. This guy's credits include Lottie and the Moonstone Secret, Lottie and the Lost Dragons, Poop,
Gosh.
and
One of my favorites.
Spring and others. Starring Rhea Lest. She's got 12 credits, including Azrael, Dark Paradise, Scandinavian Silence, Jorgen Leek, is in this. He's got 10 credits, including Portugal, The End of the Chain, and The Polar Boy. And Arvo Kukamagi, 39 credits, including Revolution of Pigs, Kara Suda, and something I can't read. Looks like Paraguay, but who knows? Okay, you guys haven't seen the movie November?
No.
You guys want to see. Film is a delight, but you have to be in the right frame of mind for it.
Okay.
It is slow and weird and rambling, but the ideas are just super cool. So it opens with this wild scene where a cow is tied up in a barn, and this time frame is kind of hard to nail down. Before the 1900s, I would say, but beyond that, I can't really tell. Anyway, this thing comes out and steals the cow. What is this thing, you may ask? Well, it is an animated automaton, I suppose you would call it.
Oh.
It looks like it's made out of 3 long tools, like scythes or something, and it has a cow skull as its head, but that is literally it, and it just kind of stumbles towards this thing, gets a chain around the cow, drags it out, and then it takes its 3 limbs and starts helicoptering and rises up into the air while it's carrying this cow. And it brings the cow to a different village where it drops it off to a peasant who is waiting for it. So that is the opening scene.
Wow.
It is fucking wild. After a bit of exploring this very poor village, you start realizing that these automatons are pretty normal. A lot of people have them, and they all kind of look like this weird thing that has been jumbled together with odds and ends and farm tools, and they are called krats. And they use these krats to just generally steal stuff. This whole village is dirt poor, and they are all stealing from each other, and it is a pretty grim existence.
No.
The film will mostly follow a young girl and boy who are trying to navigate this world where everyone is starving and a harsh winter is coming. And on top of that, the plague is coming as well. The plague, by the way, shows up first in the form of a girl crossing the river and then in the form of a white goat. But the villagers are able to fool it by wearing pants over their heads to make it think that they all have 2 asses, and it leaves them alone.
Whoa.
Now, if you're an ass man like myself, this would not deter you at all. You'd be like, hello.
Oh, my God.
They're also regularly visited by their family ghosts who require bread and are all quite miserable. You doing all right over there, Vanessa?
I'm just trying to wrap my head around what the fuck is going on in this movie.
Anyway, while this is going on, the girl is in love with this boy, but he's infatuated with someone else. So she's using mystical means to try and entrance him. Oh, by the way, she is also kind of a werewolf.
Okay.
I mean, she could turn into a wolf, which is apparently not that big of a deal in this village, but that makes her a werewolf in my book.
Wow.
Literally in my next book, which is
that's
a werewolf story.
Incredible.
Anyway, what a crazy movie. It is so gorgeous and weird and just like fantastical that I fell in love with it all over again. I think I might have mentioned watching this movie many years ago, and then when you decided to do the subgenre of contemporary black and white, I knew I had a winner. You can watch this on Apple or you can rent it on Prime. A little bit of trivia. This was Estonia's submission to the Foreign Language Film Award of the 90th Annual Academy Awards. It was not picked for a nomination. But it did win a number of accolades, including the Spotlight Award by the American Society of Cinematographers, the International Fantasy Film Award at Fantasporto, Best Cinematography in an International Narrative Feature at Tribeca Film Festival, Best Film and Best Cinematography at Listopad, and Best Estonian Film at Tallinn Black Nights Film Festival. If this means anything to anybody, it is 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. I only mention that because that is a really high percentage of positive reviews for a very, very strange film. It's just, I don't want to say it's feel good because it's so depressing, but it's every new idea they introduce, you're just like, what? What is happening? This is so wild. And the ghosts, when they show up, aren't like see-through ghosts, but everybody has shown up at the graveyard to pick up their ghost family member and take them back to the house where
That's
they
nice.
feed them bread. And then the ghosts, they ask the ghosts, how are things? And the ghosts are like, oh, they're great. And the people are like, yeah, that sounds wonderful. Not here on Earth. They're not great. Everything sucks here. And the ghosts are like, more bread, please.
Oh my God.
This is actually going to be in Severin's All the Haunts BR's Compendium Volume 2 release coming out.
Gosh.
Along with Psychomania.
Oh.
But yeah, big old, like 13 discs, 24 movies, and this will be one of them.
Oh, well.
I did not know another one was coming out.
Worth it for this movie alone, but Psychomania is also amazing.
Pretty good.
Yeah, this is called November, and I urge everybody to give it a try, especially if you've got Apple TV. It's free on Apple TV.
That's so cool.
Okay,
really,
cool.
really neat movie.
Nice.
Eric?
Alrighty. I think we're traveling down, despite the ending of The Mist, down into the depths of depression for film watching.
Oh dear.
I watched a film from 1993 called Anchoress.
Why do you think you're pure enough to enter the wall?
It is her house.
You must understand the truth of this.
L'attivis per externa sunt diffusi.
The more your senses are scattered over it, the less they are able to function inwardly. You have sworn perpetual chastity and perpetual constancy of abode for as long as God grants you breath.
Patre et Filii et Spiritus Sanctus.
And you, Mr. Carpenter, have you nothing to bless?
You got my daughter already. What more do you want?
What do I tell her ladyship?
I'll show it you now.
That's on Canopy, so if you want to give yourself a feel-bad experience, it won't cost you anything. Directed by Chris Newby, who's not done a lot. He's done Dickens in London, Flicker, and a lot of shorts. Written by Judith Stanley Smith, Tales from the Underground, but did a lot more production design for like 15 films. And Christine Watkins, this is her only film. Starring Natalie Morse, who was in The Jungle Book, 1994. The Power of One, variety of other stuff. Jean Bourvil, who was in The Vanishing, the 1988 Dutch version, far superior to the remake. Big Bad Belgium, actually saw that at the Neptune too, The Vanishing.
Oh.
121 credits overall for Jean here. Toya Wilcox is in Jubilee, The Tempest, and Teletubbies.
What? Okay.
Christopher Eccleston, who you know from 13 episodes of Doctor Who, Thor, The Dark World, a bunch of other stuff. And Pete Postlethwaite, who, if you don't know the name, you will definitely recognize the man. He's in The Usual Suspect, The Town, Inceptions, and tons of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My first note as I'm watching the movie and it starts, this looks arty. And boy, is it. The storyline is a woman sees a vision of the Virgin Mary. And there's other storylines going on with kind of a village leader, I think, kind of a royalty maybe, who's trying to seduce, I think, another woman. The story's really kind of convoluted. But the main storyline of the woman who sees the Virgin Mary, and then what do you think happens? Why, the priest goes, my church isn't very popular. I think I'll exploit the hell out of this woman. So largely on her wanting to, she kind of locks herself up in this cage, which has a slot for food being delivered and like a little window on the side where people come and visit her to get ask questions of what the Virgin Mary might be saying, or why am I going to have a happy life, kind of things like that. Just start asking her all kinds of weird questions, things along those lines. And like an odd circus area builds up around them where they're doing things that are decidedly unreligious looking, but gotta get that cash in there for the miracle woman that's in. As you can imagine, things start to go a little wrong. And of course, the priest is totally supportive and works with her wonderfully. No. She's a witch. This woman's a witch. So that's where, and it gets dark. This is a uncomfortable, hard to watch film. The mother of the woman and the priest clash quite a bit because she really hates him. Of course, she's a witch too, and they do some witch trial stuff, which is uncomfortable to watch. There, I will confess to, there is a lot of religious iconography and imagery going on here that I know I'm not getting. Just because of the way things are said and shot and some of the way things are done. It's beautiful looking. It was inspired by the original silent Joan of Arc movie from many, many years ago. And it looks a lot like that. It has that era look to the way it's shot. It is based loosely on a historical female, Christine Carpenter, who was walled into her in a village church in the 1329. So this had happened to someone. It's hard to recommend if you are really in the mood for good acting, but slow story and strange story and convoluted delivery of that story. You might like it. And you know me, I am not in any way against art films. Some of the stuff I've talked about is really artsy, but this was just a little much, and it's also not a happy film.
Doesn't sound like it.
No.
It's like, hey, Saint Maud, but a little less blood.
Oh, jeez.
Like the scene with when they start to test her. It took me a second to even figure out what was going on. It's this shot of a wood area, and you see the wood's moving, which I'm like, oh, I guess that's somebody walking on it. And then water just starts to flow and flow and flow for like maybe 2 minutes. I was like, oh, they're doing the water test on the witch here.
Oh.
So it's a well-made film, but it is definitely not for everyone. The, what was it called again? The Anchoress on Canopy, if you're interested.
Wow. That sounds
I think I'm not.
depressing.
Yeah, I would. Watch Aquaslash.
I think I'd rather watch The Anchoress, but maybe at some point when I'm in the mood.
I don't have a lot to say about this, but it brings to mind you saying something that I kind of wanted to discuss about Immaculate which you
okay.
just watched.
Yeah.
And you were comparing it because it has to be compared against The First Omen.
The Omen, yeah.
And you liked Immaculate better.
I liked it a little bit more. I know you're a big Omen fan.
Yeah.
I like The Omen, but it's really fucking good. And I just thought this was her turn. I thought was really interesting.
I wouldn't even push back against it being a better film than The First Omen. I was just so scarred by her screaming and all of the torture they did to her that I was like, I am having a real hard time watching this woman get tortured.
Yeah, it's a harder film to watch.
Yeah.
The Omen is definitely a little more, for lack of a better term, Hollywood.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's a rough watch.
Why do you hate women?
I don't think she goes through some shit, but I think she comes out strongly. I don't think she gets destroyed or anything like that. I think as a woman, she handles what goes on to her fairly well.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the only thing you can say is at the end, at least, she's taken control.
Yeah.
But I was just like, boy, this poor girl, I can't.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I feel like our show has become like the feel bad.
Watch November, you guys. Watch November.
Yeah.
Toho, return.
Actually, this has a sad ending too, but it's kind of a good ending. So.
It's more just it sounds like it's just really weird and interesting.
It is just really weird and interesting. Yeah. I mean,
I
talk about not, the iconography that you were saying you missed. I'm sure that everything in this is part of like the Estonian culture and folklore and everything. I didn't get any of it, but I was fascinated the entire time.
Yeah, that's part of what I love about. That's what I do like about folk horror from other countries. When it's stuff there's like, wow, okay, that's interesting. Like that puppet one, starts with the V that I watched recently.
Oh, the Vorderlock.
Yeah, which is definitely going on to some different folk from it. And it's like, oh, this is so weird.
Yeah, or like early Japanese, not early Japanese horror, but modern Japanese, early whatever. The
Japanese horror.
Japanese horror that has like the use of white and the ghost thing, and like you gotta leave the shoes and the way they use paper pieces.
The wet long hair and there's all
like
kinds
there's
of
all this
going
stuff.
on.
It's like I don't know what this means, but it means something to somebody.
Yeah.
So that is definitely very interesting.
It's like they're people too.
Oh my god,
Jesus.
Okay.
Anyway,
so
Eric,
what a great discussion we've had.
Crack myself up. Eric.
Movies. How about movies with clueless protagonists?
It's your turn for picking the subgenre.
Okay, let's keep it light and fun. Body horror.
Oh God. All right.
And body modification horror, like the movie that Dee Snider did would be body modification.
Oh, is that Strangeland or something?
Yeah.
I've never seen that. Maybe
or
I'll
American Mary or something.
Snake, something like that. Okay, this sounds cool.
Or just about anything by Cronenberg.
Right, of
Fantastic.
course. Okay, well then, this is the part of the show where we say thank you to everyone who's out there liking and sharing posts, who's spreading the bandwidth, who's getting on the Strange Eons Radio Talk page and having discussions with us, who's calling in DeBronzo.
The DeBronzo Show.
At the Strange Eons Radio hotline, which is 253-237-4266. And especially anyone participating in the value for value model, which is if you get anything out of this, give something back. We can't decide what that is to you. You get to decide what this show is worth.
Share our stuff.
Anything else? I've got a book coming out called Distant Silver Melody. It is a werewolf novella, kind of fun. And of course, this guy coming out in November. This is Anno Carcosa, 1 year under Twin Suns. It is really cool. In a couple episodes, I'll start showing stuff from inside. It's really, really beautiful art by Rob Corliss. All right, guys, we are going to be back in 7 short days, and we are talking body horror.
Yay.
See you next Thursday. transportation, and other considerations for Strange Eons Radio, produced by Pan Am Airlines. When you think of traveling, think of Pan Am. You can't beat the experience. Guests of Strange Eons Radio stay at Econo Lodge Everett. It's an easy stop on the road, you know what we mean. Strange Eons Radio is recorded live in front of a studio audience. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a positive review on your favorite podcast app. Sit, Ubu, sit.
It was dumb. It's fun. It's stupid.